go. Then you have two screws that go in. Very simple. One goes in there, one goes in over here. Those are in, and the machine's back together again. And your lid switch is working. Now, just so you know, all of these machines have self-leveling legs on the back. The days of having to go back there and adjust the legs, you don't have to do that anymore. To make this machine level, all you do is put a boot against the front of it, lift it, drop it, and the machine is now level. And that makes it nice and easy. Okay, this is a dryer. We're going to strip this down now, find out how it works and what makes it work, and we're going to find out what's wrong with it. First thing I'm going to do is pull the lint trap out. We get that out of the road. Something to remember here, I show you in the pack where there are two different types of Whirlpool dryers. One was made for a short period. This machine has been made probably for close to 2 decades now. The other one is identifiable by the fact that it has a separate bottom panel at the bottom. I don't want you to buy that machine. This is the one you're going to see mostly. I just want you to stick with this machine and you won't run into any problems. We've got 2 screws on the top here. We're going to take those out. Now we're going to open the top of the dryer, and to open this you pull back on the control panel and unclips. And we're going to do the same on the other side. You can just put your knee up against it and pull it. Okay, now we've got the dryer open. We have the drum inside. Right here, this is the wiring harness to the door switch, which is right here. If it isn't making that noise, it's busted. You very rarely see these broken, but every now and again, but it's very apparent when they're broken. We unplug it right here. Inside here, there's 2 5/16 screws. We're going to take those out right now. And one on the other side. This whole front section now comes off. There's 2 hooks at the bottom on the inside, right and left. You pull it forward and off it comes. Now you can see the door switch and the hinges and so forth. Right here is a felt glide. These hardly never go bad. Once in a blue moon, and you'll be able to see very easily that it's bad because it'll all be chewed up. Cost you about $7 to replace if you need to. I don't think I've replaced one of these probably in a couple of years. Alright, so we have our drum. There's a plastic glide inside. Again, these hardly never go bad. Sometimes the little holders that hold them in place can break, but as long as it's in position, when the front goes back on, it will stay there. So you don't have to worry about that too much. I'm going to disconnect the belt from underneath around the idler pulley. And we're going to take the whole drum out. Okay, so let's take a look here, see what we have. We have 2 rollers, 1, 2, a support bar for this roller with a 5/16 screw that holds it in place, and we have the idler pulley. Just a quick tip for you, and you'll find this in your manual. If the belt has come off and has wrapped around the side, it's because this idler pulley has become twisted, and you need to replace the idler pulley. You can buy this kit from Whirlpool. The part numbers are in your pack. This gives you a new set of rollers, a new belt and an idler pulley. Costs you about 10 or 11 bucks, which replaces the whole thing, both rollers, idler pulley and belt. And after you replace those, the machine will run extremely quietly for you. But if they're in good shape, you don't need to replace them. Basically, if they're not wobbling around, if they just actually spin and they haven't become oval, then they're fine. We have the motor with the motor harness going to it. Motors hardly ever go bad. Every now and again they do. If you buy a machine for parts, you can swap one motor out with another. It just has a clip here and a clip in the back. You undo the blower wheel from the back, take the motor out, put the new one in, or the one from another machine in, plug in the harness, put the clips on, and that's all there is to it basically. So let's turn it around and take a look in the back. Okay, so here's the back of the dryer. You've got the vent down at the bottom here where your vent hose connects, and that's where your damp air comes out. Remember, it's making the water airborne inside the dryer, and the airflow is taking the water out, which leaves you with dry clothes. Right here is the terminal block. This is where your dryer cord hooks up to. Now there's two different types of dryer cords. There's a 3-pin and a 4-pin. And if you refer back to your pack, it shows you in there exactly how those are wired up. Okay, I don't want to tell you right now because I don't want you to try and do this from remembering it. I want you to look at it and wire it up correctly. And it's vitally important that it's wired correctly because you've got 220 volts going through there and it needs to be done right. So just look at your pack and do it exactly as I say and you'll be fine. Good. What we're going to do, we're going to take the back of the dryer off now. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Remember again, I've never opened this dryer up before, so I don't know what we're going to find, but that's why we're doing it this way. Okay, right here we have a thermal fuse. This is on the heater circuit. On the dryer you've got two circuits. You have the motor circuit, which drives the motor to drive the drum, and you have the heater circuit, which runs the heating element to make the hot air. Your machine runs on 220 volts. You have 110 going here and 110 going here. One of them is for the heater circuit and one of them is for the dryer circuit. It's that simple. 220 volts just means you've got two lots of 110 like your regular outlet in your home. Okay, so this is a thermal fuse. It is not resettable. If this fuse is bad, it has to be replaced, and the part numbers are in your pack for you. This thermal fuse is the same on all of Whirlpool dryers. Again, regardless of the brand name, it's been pretty much the same part number for over a decade, so it makes it nice and easy. This is the emergency thermostat. Now this one is resettable. It resets itself. If it gets too hot, I think this one is about 250 degrees. If the heat by this exceeds 250 degrees, then it cuts the electricity to the heating element until it cools down again, and then puts the electricity back to the heating element again. This right here is a cycling thermostat. What happens here is the temperature